Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name's Aley, and this is Heart and Soul Connected, a place where you can come and see all manner of things, including psychic information, philosophical chatter, academia, whatever it is that you want. Um, I try to get that for you and to help you with it. Today is a topic that is very timely, and I had this idea probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I thought I really need to bring it to the community, because there is such a taboo about talking about any kind of death, dying, or sick illness people. It's something that we all have to come to terms with in our lives many times over, when we lose loved ones, when we lose our pets. Uh, we could even say we have a fear of loss when it comes to um, relationships with friendships. We have a lot of friends that pass. And the older you get, the more and more you will see that this is going to be a reality, unfortunately. But the good thing about it is you don't have to be afraid of it if you're aware of it, if you can talk about it, if you can work with it. And that's what I'm hoping to impart to you today. So I've always had a very healthy respect for that which is unseen. You could say that, faith and hope and so forth are part of that. But the fact that we only have a very short window of life here on the earth, at least that we can remember now, is important to mention, because if you believe in reincarnation, then there is something better and coming back for you. And you've been here before. So being here again shouldn't be something that becomes a frightening thing for you, even when we're going through rough times. So getting older, I decided to do that Swedish death clearing, where I went and I got rid of stuff that I no longer needed, that was weighing me down, and that I knew my children would have to take care of whenever something happened to me. And so what I did was I cleaned out as much as I can, and I'm still continuing that process. So I'm doing that, and I am working to integrate that with planning, because we live in such a digital world that it's very, very important for us to have a plan and to execute that plan in a manner of speaking. So what I've done is I have decided, I went out and got a book for passwords, and I'm going to keep it and update it as every time that I've changed my passwords. My husband has his on his computer. He's got it sort of as a Excel program, whereas I like to have things done by hand. So I will do that. The fact is, I have so many places that I need to let whoever is left after I'm gone know what to do. So I actually have bought a little box, even a little box that will have things in it that will say where things are and how things are, including insurance policies, 401k information, bank information, subscriptions, credit cards, mortgage information, job information, Social Security, you name it. A lot of people also have a will, and I have not done that yet, which I need to do. But I think it's important for us to be cognizant of the fact that when you are a person who has to work with the deceased person's information after they've passed, you need as much help as you can possibly get. Enter me. When my dad passed, I was in charge. And because I was in charge, I know all the things that go into it. However, it's even more so now when it comes to planning digitally. Didn't have that back in 1992 when Dad passed. I had a hard enough time just finding things by phone calls or mail, or at the time there was email in some regard. So there was something out there then. Anything that you can do that will assist you in bringing that to full circle for your person, and giving them the ease of understanding, because they're going to have to go on your computer. They're going to need a way to get onto your computer. They're going to need a way to get into your subscriptions that you apply for every month. I have automatic payments taken out. I need those canceled. I have places that are subscriptions to something that are long-term. I need those canceled. I have a website now, and I actually have 2 more websites that push toward that website. I have to have those canceled. I have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook. I have a Blue Sky. I could go on and on. And even if you don't have a large digital footprint, you do want to make certain that you are covered and your people are covered that have to deal with that. So along with that and how you wish to be disposed of are important things to talk about with your loved ones or your friends that might be taking things over for you when you pass. How does this have anything to do with the fear of death? Well, nobody wants to talk about death. No one wants to talk about their own death. Nobody wants, it's a very uncomfortable topic. And we know this. If we don't even know it because we haven't gone to a funeral, let's say, all we have to do is look into different fictional stories that tell us from pretty much the beginning of writing history, people just absolutely want nothing to do with anybody that's sick, anybody that's dying, or anybody that's dead. They're afraid of bodies. They're afraid of where you're going. They're afraid of talking about it. And the truth is that, you know, we all are mortals, all of us. So we could go at any time. And we've seen that evidenced here in the YouTube community. And I mean, not only with people that have a channel, but people that are subscribers and members of channels. And some of those people disappear and you wonder, are they okay? Are they still here? And the same thing with Facebook. I've seen it over and over again. Somebody goes in and says, I'm so-and-so's daughter or son or husband or wife, and so passed. And we needed to know that. It took me over a year to find out that a friend of mine from college passed. And that was simply due to the fact that I don't think that people that were running his afterlife information knew to go on there and tell people that. So it was almost as though I tripped into it at some point. And there's nothing more morbid than going through the Google and trying to find obituaries to see if that person is gone or not. And to be frank with you, there are a lot of people that don't have them anymore. People don't do them anymore. So if you want one, you have to ask for that too. And maybe you want to even write it. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want people to remember you? Were you a funny person? Were you a traveler? Did you like to go fishing? What is it that you really loved? Sometimes people don't think about those things, especially now. We're seeing it over and over again. So fear of death can contain several different things. We can certainly say that we don't want to be in pain or suffer. And yet there are many people who do go through that before they pass. There is something that just seems so damned unfair about all of that. And, you know, a lot of us, if we had a preferred way to go, it would be, you know, we just don't wake up in the morning. We pass in the middle of the night and go to sleep and not wake up. And most of us would choose that, were we the ones that were the choosers. At the same time, people are afraid to talk about it with their loved ones. And their loved ones don't want to talk about it either, especially the younger ones. Oh, don't say that. Don't talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. Because there is a feeling of insecurity in that. There's a fear of the unknown. If you're watching this, many times you're already in a spiritual community. So you know that there have been certain things that have pointed us in the direction that there is something much better. And I also know that many religions indicate the same, if that's what you are instead. You're fearful of losing control. You're fearful of leaving your loved ones. Or you're fearful of losing your loved ones, or your animals, or your friends. And the truth is, unfortunately, it does happen. And all of us have a different grieving from those things. And others will have a different grieving as well. There is no time limit on grief. Not at all. Fear of non-existence. All of a sudden, where are you? The truth is that there can be a better thought in your mind when it's time to cross to the other side. I would like to think that I can say, oh, goody. Now I get to determine what kind of reality that I put around myself that's my own vision, my own doing. We also fear dying by ourselves or being ill by ourselves. And one of the biggest things that I remember about dying with my dad was he felt like he didn't have any meaning in his life. He said, what have I done? I haven't, I'm not a very important person. And yeah, I was the father to 3 children, but what else have I ever done? The truth is the man was a genius and he didn't want to be called that. He was a sage. He was wonderful. Everybody has their beautiful side to them. And every life has meaning. Every single life has meaning. A lot of it we assign to ourselves. So if we're having a bad life, we think it's out there somewhere that's happening. But really, truly, it's the way we feel and the way we work with our own energies. So asking what actually might happen is a big part of what can be done. How can you do this? My suggestion, of course, is to read books like Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Read the short story, The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Tolstoy. Look for whatever it is that you feel will help you discern what is coming for you or how you can deal with the imminent demise. We already have gone through so many little deaths in our life. We've either lost our parents, we've lost in some cases lost children, we've lost friends, animals, all of those things. And each of us carries the pain and heartache of those losses where they can accumulate even. Many people will say, well, I don't understand why it is that I feel more sorrow because I lost my pet than I did when I lost this person. Your pet is 24/7 with you. Your pet is unconditionally loving. Your pet is something that you chose and chose it, and that pet chose you in a lot of ways. So there's no right or wrong way to feel. There is no right or wrong way to act. But not talking about it, not planning for it, not working in a wise way to figure out what needs to be done and how it needs to be done is vital. One of the things that I've seen and mentioned to several people is that when someone is going through a terminal illness or an illness that, let's say, is uncomfortable for them as well as it is for you, many people walk away. Many people say, oh, I can't go there. I don't want to bother them. Oh, I don't want to, I'm not comfortable with the way they feel. And so I'm going to just step away and they can call me if they need me, but then hope that they don't call. There are people that have done that. What is it about that? Is it because they're looking right in the eye of someone that's dying? and they don't want to look at that. That isn't something they want to see. Of course, you don't want to see your friend dying or your loved one dying. But what are you really afraid of? Are you afraid that that's going to be you, that you're going to have to eventually go through something similar? Or you don't know what to say, and sometimes saying something isn't even necessary. Sitting with someone, reading to someone, spending time with someone is the simplest thing in the world. And it means everything usually to that person. Turning away from them is probably the worst thing that we could ever do. There are people that will say, well, I don't want to remember them at this point. I want to remember all the happy times. Well, good for you. I do too. But life isn't full of happy times. It has bad times. It has difficult times. It has times that don't make sense. It has times that we grieve. It has times that we wish we weren't here. And, I'm not speaking of wanting to off thyself. I'm just saying you just feel low. People feel low. We have a really hard time uplifting ourselves when that happens due to circumstances mostly beyond our control. We can choose to bring joy in. We can choose to bring in, verbal action, discussing it, bringing it to light, taking it out and looking at it and making a determination of where it is that you can do better. Where can you do better? We all can do better. Always, 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 always. Check in with your body if you're feeling fear about it. Try to eliminate it. Makes it more powerful. It's like you're focusing too much on it. So instead, name the fear. And I'm feeling fear because my life matters to me. I don't have to solve the mystery of death in this moment. Okay. For me, as a real logical person in some ways, because I'm a Libra, I balance both. In my Capricorn rising says, I don't know how long I'm going to live, so I don't know how to prepare to die. I mean, do I get 10 more years? Do I get 2 more weeks? Do I get 6 more decades? Or, what? How much do I have to have in my pocket in order to live and sustain myself for that period of time? Now, that may sound really crazy to some people, but it makes sense to me, which was another reason why I got rid of a lot of stuff. It's like, do I want to carry this stuff? It's heavy. It's a heavy load. Do I want to transfer this heavy load to those people that are left behind if I die? When I die? Because I will die. I will. You will. I'm sorry. Didn't know. Okay. It's all right. It's all right. Talking about a death before a crisis occurs with a family member or a loved one or a friend puts you on the same page as to how you feel about it. Maybe you've never, ever talked about it. What do you believe about it? What do you wonder about it? What makes your life meaningful? What makes their life meaningful? How we would want to be cared for. Very important. For me, cremation, scatter the ashes. I don't need to take up room in some cemetery in a great big casket. I just don't. And that's how my babies were taken care of. And my dad wanted to be taken care of. And my brother. What kind of a memorial service or remembrance feels right for you? Celebration of life. Please play Funeral for a Friend by Elton John. And any other things that you could find that would bring you joy. I like to think I brought some joy to people. You may have something else. You may want to have your people remember you as being kind and caring, a compassionate person, a gardener, a photographer, a great electrician. I don't know what it is, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We identify on different levels. All of us do. what we hope we leave behind. And I don't mean material stuff, but you can look into that as well. Hope you leave behind. It might be your children. It might be your grandchildren. It might be friends. It might be a legacy, a way of living, esprit, what is it? Esprit de joie. What remains unsaid and what needs to be expressed. So advance directives, medical wishes also can cause anxiety, but it's an act of care for those who have to deal with everything after we're gone. And they want to make the best decision possible. And they want to honor what your wishes are. And sometimes that doesn't always happen. That's true. That's very true. But at least you know what they want. So you can work towards that aim, or yourself. Death can also, talking about death can also make us become more aware of what it is we're doing now. If you only knew you had this amount of time left, what would you be doing? Are you doing it now? Who needs to hear that they're loved? Who needs to know how important they were to you? Who needs to be forgiven? If that's where you want to go. Where am I living from obligation rather than authenticity? Are you setting boundaries? Have you ever set boundaries? What beauty am I failing to notice? Oh, absolutely. There's so much beauty. Nature has so much beauty. The smile on a little child's face, or a little giggle, a puppy that's running. There's so many things. If my time felt precious, what would I do differently? I say you could ask that question any day. You don't have to wait until you think, oh, this is the age, I got to do it. I've done that my whole life. I really have. I remember back when I was about 39 or 40 years old, writing out what I wanted my wishes. And I've changed that since, but I remember thinking about it and even asking people in some of my writing classes to write their own obituary, which was very telling. No one really wanted to do it. Sometimes I think we have to start with really young kids and get them in that flow of not worrying and fearing things that are inevitable. Religious and spiritual traditions offer many understandings of death. We don't have to know what comes next, but we need to remain open to the mystery. And so importantly, I developed a relationship with impermanence and Buddhism, because I felt like, yes, life is not permanent. Nothing's permanent. Nothing. And change is all that happens over and over again. So practice that can help you to be in the moment, which is the only time there is, the present. Walking in nature, observing cycles of change, meditating, keeping a mortality or meaningful journal, reading accounts from hospice workers and wisdom traditions. The Tao Te Ching is one. There are many, many texts that can help you. Creating a grief circle, creating art or ritual, and spending meaningful time with elders. If you are younger and you've got an elder that's in their 70s, 80s, 90s, or beyond, ask them about their life. Oh my God, they got stories to tell you, and really wonderful, meaningful examples of how they lived their life correctly or incorrectly, and how that has impacted them. Very important. Create your legacy. Write some stories about your life. Send a letter to the people you love, or at the very least, write a letter to be kept for the people you love. My dad did that, and I received that when he passed. Write down what your values are. Lessons you want future generations to remember, if you know what you'd like your grandson or great grandchildren to know. A blessing for your descendants. An account of what your life has taught you. So we live in a culture that continuously feeds us with fear. Always has. Worry about this, worry about that. Worry is a debt you pay for something you may never owe. And so in researching other ways of living, Japanese, Chinese, Hindus, Indians, Jainism, and many, many other types of living, you can learn that their idea is very, very different. The Eastern religion idea is very, very different from anything we in the West work with. If you can't talk about it with other people right now, allow yourself to ruminate on some of these ideas. Do it in a time where it's not a morbid thing. It's a way of expressing what the meaning was to you in this life. When you get on the other side and you're asked, or you're shown what you've done, are you going to agree with that? Are you going to say, gee, I didn't really see it that way? Or are you going to be happy? Are you going to feel like you lived the life that you were meant to live? So really, this is more about life than it is about death. It is us taking a look and understanding that if you can't learn to be less fearful of death, then you're not truly living your life to the full potential. You've got that thing there. Now, there is something even worse than death in the fear category, and that's public speaking. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just asking you to ruminate on some of these ideas and bring up others. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, my friends. It's always something that we can think about and do something about while we're here on this side. And there's a beauty in that. It's taking up the gauntlet for yourself and the life you live. Thank you very much. I hope everybody has a very beautiful day. And remember, you are important, you are valuable, and you are loved. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful